This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, guys. Last class we done with annotation based configuration. Ma. Today let me start the Java based configuration example. Guys, today topic is what? Ma? The Java based configurations. Java based configurations. Let's see, we are writing up to now XML based configurations, and we are using some annotations about that. We are using what? Some annotation, right? Okay, there are three types of configurations, ma'am, basically. So one is the what a configuration? Tell me. One is the XML configuration. Yeah, second is annotation based configuration. Initially, everything we done with XML configuration. We are taking the bean tag. So, man, so we are taking everything is what? How many types of configuration total here? Three types. There are three ways to configure the data. One is initially completely are going with XML configurations. We are taking the bean tag, property tag, constructor arg tag, list tag, scope tag. We are going for the tags, XML based configuration completely. Later, XML we are not writing anything. Mostly we are working with what annotation, right? Otherwise, component, scope, property, so something like that. Today, is everything is Java-based configuration, guys. Because writing XML configurations, definitely we are the Java developers. We don't have much knowledge about the XML, and even XML is a tag-based programming, right? Each and every tag should be validated and processed, right? Every tag will be validated and processed. It will take bit much time. A parser will take the time to pass the data and process the data, right? That's what so you'll go for the Java based configuration because Java developer very good to write the Java code, right? That's why even the configuration is also done using Java code. So Java developer writing the configuration using XML configuration good at Java based configuration good because you're good at Java, so that we can write the Java coding very simply, right? So completely XML configuration is out of the part, right? Exactly. So initially completely we done with XML. Later we done with annotation. Now we are doing with what? Java based. We are doing with what? Java based, right? Coming to Java based configuration, guys, as usual, let me take the project first. As usual, so you can open Eclipse ID, take the bean classes, take the bean class basic example. Guys, can please create the Maven project? You know how to create the Maven project and all, right? Tell me, guys, how to create the Maven project? Go to the file menu, click on what? Project, right? Yes. Because previously application context, we are giving what? Tell me here. Application context, we are giving XML file name, right? XML file name as a argument. Today XML file name is argument, Java class name is argument. Here we'll use the Java class name. Previously XML configuration, we are making the code like this. We are giving the Spring config.xml, right? Spring what? Config.xml. We are giving the Spring config.xml. But today class Spring config Java based configuration. Java based configuration. That's what here you write the okay one configuration file. So then you can write the assume like I taken the class. What the class ma? Java configure. The class name is Java config, right? In this class, I done the configurations, guys. Previously, the configurations are done in what? XML. Now the configurations done in what? Java config file. Java config dot class. So this is the class where we are doing the configuration. This is the file previously where we are doing the configurations. Spring container here immediately goes to spring config.xml file, perform the operations, right? Instantiations, initialization, auto wiring, injecting, everything is done. Today class, the Spring container goes to which class? XML class, XML file, Java config class. In that class, the container identify what are the beans are there, what are the dependencies are there. We need to inject the dependencies, right? That is the difference, guys. You get the point, right? Yes. This is a Spring config XML file. Today class is what? Java config.class, right? Exactly. Guys, for that case, you can run the code, create the project first. Can you please close all the existing files? Yeah. Let me go for the file. New. I want take what? Project is Java project. Project. The project is select the Maven. In the Maven project. Click on the next. Click on what? Next. Click on what? Next. Select the archetype. Click on what? Archetype. Click on what? Next. Tell me, guys, click on what? Next. Give the package name, right? com.ecs dot today class what am I? Java config. Java config. Artifact is what am I? So Java config example one. Java config what example one. Let me remove this package now. Up to you can take com.tcs.java config. Com.tcs dot what? Java config, right? Yes, Java. See this guys, group ID. Group ID, unique identifier for project name or group name, right? Yeah. Artifact ID is a project name. So package name is like this. Can select, right? Yeah. Just click on what finish. Once if you click on the finish, the project is ready. Java config example one. Java config example one. Yes, this is the Maven project. You can extract this. src main.java. What it contains? Source code. Test.java, test file. By default, it's taking 1.5. We can get the Maven dependencies. By default, get the JUnit dependency. Okay. Form XML file. What is the form full form? Project object. Exactly. Guys, can you please take one normal bean class? Employee bean you can take. A student bean you can take. Okay. First, let me take the what the bean? EMP bean. Just let me take the EMP bean. Somewhere EMP class. Guys, EMP bean, just let me take the constructor to know that object creating properly or not, right? Yes, this is the constructor. Then you can write the sysout control space. This is what? EMP constructor, right? Yeah. Because you can take the public void EMP info method. EMP info method. You can write the sysout control space. Tell me guys. Without control space. Guys, this is like uh, employees are what employees are employees are very good. Employees are what very good. Employees are very good, enjoying the life, right? Enjoying the life with coding, with what with coding and parties. Coding and what with coding and party, right? Yes. Okay, that is employee class employees are very good, enjoy the life with coding and what party. Get the point, right? This is employee information. Employee constructor is there, employee info is there. Is this is my spring bean class. For this bean class, I need to configure the bean class, right? Yeah. To configure the bean class, previously XML is there. But today do you have XML? We have the Java based. Java based, right? Yes. Because for that, in a POMD XML file, first of all, you can add the dependencies first. How many dependencies we need to add? Two dependencies. One is the Spring Core, Spring Context. You can go for the Maven repository, as you know previously, mavenrepository.com directly. So the story every day we are doing, right? For the Spring Core, we need to take first one, the Spring Core. Spring Core, yeah. Spring Core, click on what, Black. Akka told black, na? Just click on what? Spring Core Black. Then you can go for the version Ratan sir like 5.1.20. I like this version because first today that version is going very good. That's what daily you are taking that version, right? Spring Core we added one dependency, the Spring Core dependency. Next one is what Spring context. If you take the Spring context, click on one Spring context here. Click on Spring context. You can go for the 5.1 point what 20. Click on this, and we need to go for the bottom side, and we can add this dependency. Oh, we can add this dependency, right? Yes, exactly. Because how many dependencies are added? Total two dependencies. After adding the dependencies, go and check the Maven dependencies once. Okay, all the files are coming properly or not. AOP, beans, context, core, expression, and what? JSCL. Fine. You get the point? Then good. So dependencies are ready. Then you take the Spring Bean, right? This Spring Bean you need to configure. You need to give the information to the container. Previously, how we are giving information to container using? Tell me, using what? Uh, Previously, you're using XML based configuration, right? Now today, let me take the Java class. Today, configurations are done using which class? Java class, right? Take the class. What the class name you want? Java configure. Java configuration, Java config enough. Java config. Okay, fine. Java config class. Click on finish. This is a configuration class. To represent it is a configuration class. You can write the annotation like configuration annotation. Annotation name configuration. Immediately when you start the container goes to come to this class. Then the container identifies, okay, this class is a configuration class. If you want, just let me take the app.java here. See guys, app.java. How to start the container? Tell me. Application context. Tell me application context. Context equal to new class path. New class path XML application context, right? At last, here we need to give the Java config dot class. Java config dot class, right? Exactly. No, ma. Actually, this one, class path XML application context means what? This is for the XML application context. But this is XML application context, Java config class. Java, Java, yeah, the class is what, ma? Java config class. That's what we need to go for the one class, ma. That is annotation. The class name is annotation config application context. The class name, annotation configure application context. Previously, what class path XML application context. But today, XML application context, Java based configuration. Java based. The implementation class we have to take annotation configure application context. You get the point? Annotation config application context Java config class, right? Yeah. When you start the container, immediately container goes to this class. Then container identify this class. Okay, configuration class. Container goes to that class. It identifies the class is what. Tell me, container goes to this class. This class is a. If you remove this, then what happened? The container cannot understand. It's what class it is. It's like normal Java class, right? That's what to make this class is a configuration class. Control Z. Then you can take the configuration class. Here we do the configurations. Which class you want to configure first? Employee class. Yes. You have to take the information to container. Hey, container, can please create the object of employee class. That's what, guys. Here you take one method. That method return which object? Employee object. So this is employee object, right? This is like EMP class. That's it. As I taken the method is what? EMP. Container comes to this class. This is a configuration class. Here we need to create the object of which bean? EMP bean. Then give the information to container. Container. This is my code. Execute this code. What is code written here? EMP, right? That's what here you need to go for return what? New EMP object. Written what, new EMP, right? Yeah. Then we need to represent this is the what method, bean method, right? Which bean? EMP, right? To represent it is a bean data, then you can go for the annotation like bean annotation. This is a configuration of the bean. This is the configuration class, at the rate configuration class. This is the configuration class, bean configuration, bean configuration at the rate bean annotation we have to take. You get the point, right? Yes. Because you can simply can place the cursor on the top of the configuration. Read the point. This is the configuration. This is the configuration. Read the point, indicate that the class declared as one or more bean methods. Indicate the class declares one or more what? Bean methods, and may processed by the Spring container to generate bean definitions and service requests for those beans at runtime. This he clearly gives information. This is an example, right? App configure. I taken the Java config something. Yeah, at the rate bean. This is my bean. I return type is what? Instantiate, configure, and instantiate and configure and return the bean. Exactly. This is a complete syntax given, right? Yes or no? Yeah, that is the complete syntax. I think you got the API documentation, right? Yes. Yes, very clear. That is a configuration class. Hmm. Indicate the class declared as. This is the class declared as what? One or more bean methods. Here, what we need to do? Instantiate, configure, and return the bean. Instantiate means what? Object creation. Configure means what? Data injection. Data injection. Return the bean there. But as of now, I instantiated, I returned. Any data configured here? No. That's fine. I think you got the clarity, right? Yes. When you start the container, then what happens, guys? When we start a container, container comes to Java config file. It understands that, okay, this is a configuration class. This is what? Configuration class. Under the configuration class, we have the bean. You guys see this one here? Read this point, the API documentation point. This is the bean tag, right? Configuration you understood? Next one is what? At the rate bean. Read the point indicates that a method produce a bean to be. Tell me a method. This method will produce, right? This method will produce what? Bean to be managed by Spring container. This method will produce what? Bean object. You got the point? Yes. Spring configuration we take in the bean tag, which is equivalent to the annotation based configuration. We have the component which is equivalent to the Java based configuration at the rate bean tag. Yes or no? XML configuration you are taking what? Bean. Annotation based configuration component. Java based configuration bean at the rate bean. Sir, I don't want at the rate bean. You remove, no problem. You remove. Just you can make what? Component. That is also valid, right? That should have the clarity, Emma, first of all. XML based configuration what? Bean. Java based annotation based configuration component, which is equivalent to the at the rate bean annotation. At the rate what? Bean, right? Yeah. Remember that this configuration class have the multiple at the rate beans. At the rate what? Beans, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is new employee, no? That's all, Emma. Completed task. Yes, here you can get the bean. See here context dot what? Get bean of. Here we need to take the reference variable, right? Our reference variables are what is the reference variables are? By default, bean method name. This method name is a reference variable. Method name. At the rate component means what? By default, class name is a reference, right? Sir, no, yaar. At the rate bean tag, at the rate bean tag, method name by default as a reference variable. You got the point, right? Yes. What the point, Amma? So here, hmm, here, here, method name as a reference variable, right? By method name is what? Reference. Here, method name as a reference, Amma. That's it. Method name as a reference. You clear? That's information, guys. At the rate bean, emp, new emp. Guys, done. Task is done. Just you please context dot get bean of what the variable name emp, what the class name emp dot class, and we need to hold the data emp e, right? Yes. Yes, then e dot we need to call the emp info. That's all. When we start the container, immediately container goes to what, this class. This class is normal class or configuration class. How can represent the configuration class? At the rate configuration annotation. Then we need to configure the bean. Which bean we have to configure? EMP bean. That's what you take the EMP bean like this, right? Exactly. By default, method name as a reference. Return the new EMP. Guys, are you clear now? Yes. Guys, if you run this code, get the point, right? This is a bean. This bean you configured here. Then this one, right? Today there is no XML data, nothing. भगवान अच्छा करे तो फर्स्ट एग्जांपल हमको अच्छे से आउटपुट देता, राइट? Definitely we are doing hard work, we are doing hard work or not? Yes, definitely we'll get the output is properly. We'll get the output is what? Properly. What expect answer? Employee constructor and employees are very good. Enjoying enjoy the life with party and what work is something written. Just you can run this code, guys. We'll get the output. Run because job is the first example, right? Click on run. Everyone pray to God. Pray to praise the Lord. Pray to God. Get the proper output and mera arms clear. That's it, ma. Click on what? Run. Yes, you will get the output. No problem. See, employees are very good. Enjoy the life with the coding and what? Party. Enjoying the life with the coding and what? Party. Coming properly or not? That's it, ma. Java based configuration good, right? Yes. Because see, Java based configuration, I can remove this, no problem. By removing this, simply I can make annotation based. What is annotation based here? I can exactly. I can do like this. Mixing flavor, ma. Project level like that we will use actually. Don't think like Java based means only you have to configure the bean here. Developers, which one they normal beans, they'll do like this immediately. Component. Okay, component means what? By default, class name as a reference. I think here also no problem, right? Yes or no, at the rate component So employees are very good. Here you can add Ratan sir. Ratan sir. Basically run this code. You will get output. No worries. Mm, Rama, no such bean definition exception. Huh? Actually, here we need to add at the rate what? Component scan. Here we need to add what? Component scan, and we need to go with that package name. I don't know whether you are understanding or not what I'm doing. Understanding and not understanding. Understanding is very good. Now run this code. What you are understanding? Intelligent people can understand. Ma. Irregular people can understand. Cannot understand. Cannot understand. I told you clearly that it will go for like what it will go for Java config class. Huh? In the config class, generally we have to write the at the rate bean class. Generally like this you have to configure. But what I'm saying that a container here at the rate bean I'm not going to implement. You go and check my project annotations. You go and check my in my project I have the annotations to give the information to the container like that. By default, container comes with this configuration clause looking for the beans. Beans are present or not present? Not present. You feel that you taken what annotation, but you should give information to container. Container comes to this file by default. Here generally at the rate what required bean required. Container can understand that, but container cannot understand the annotations what you written. To give information about that annotation, we need to go for the component scan. Which annotation? Component scan, right? Then container immediately can understand, okay, the developer, he is not writing configuration in here. I need to check annotation part. I need to check what? Annotation, right? Get the point, huh? Yes or no? It's not that much complicated. If you basic analysis, you'll get the clarity. By default, what the container will do, tell me? By default, when we start the container, tell me guys, when we start the container, then what happens? The container goes to Java config file, Java config file, looking for what? At the rate bean tags, looking for at the rate bean tags. But my bean is added with at the rate component. Somewhere. But in the application we used at the rate what component, at the rate component, right? But in application we use at the rate component for the bean classes. In this case we need to give the information to what? Container. Information to container. Check my annotation, check the annotation. We need to give the, in this case we need to give the information to the container, check the annotation with the help of what with the help of what the annotation name, exactly, component what scan, exactly. Understood? What the point? When by default when you start the container goes to the Java config file looking for at the rate bean annotation, at the rate what bean annotation for spring beans, right? That's enough, I think, right? At the rate bean annotation looking for at the rate bean. But in application we used what at the rate component for the bean classes. In this case we need to give information to container. You need to give information about container, about the annotation, right? About the annotation, about the, we need to give the information to the container about the annotation with the help of what component scan. Excellent, right? Excellent, very good point. Concentrate, way more concentration required. Project level this is happen. Some people, it's not that much easy to understand. We need to inject the content. By default it's looking for what tag, tell me? Bean tag. But used bean tag, you feel that why bean tag again, we need to create the method we have written the bean. You feel like that you written added component, but container immediately recognize that no, container cannot recognize that annotation. Container annotation recognition always should be there. But to recognize the annotation application, to recognize the, tell me, what is the note? Tell me identify the annotations present in bean. To identify the annotations present in what bean, present in what application. Annotation, to identify the annotations present in what application, use what at the rate component scan. Very excellent. Excellent point is component scanner. Exactly. Are you clear, right? Yes. Yeah. So, but as of now, component scan, you want me take? Let me remove that as of now. As of now, component scan dilemma, because you understood the component scan what the purpose, right? But this example, let me take the component scanner bean class, bean tag. Clear? Hmm. Yes. Now let me go for the employee class. Let me remove this component also. You got the point, right? Yes. Yes. Now application will work. Yes, working fine. Okay. This is the first bean configuration, guys. Can you please give me one more bean, student bean? You please tell me the code for the student bean. Tell me student bean. How to configure the student bean in Java-based configuration? Tell me code. Right click here. New. I want take what class. What a class name? Student. Click on what main method. Not main method. Just click on student. Finish. Yes, you please take the student class what constructor first. Just you can give the message confirmation message. It's our control space. This is like student. Yeah, student colon constructor, right? Yes, exactly. That's next. Let me take one method public void stu what info. Just you can write the message students are what students likes what am I students like what sleeping. Students like what am I sleeping. Employees like what am I enjoy coding and enjoying coding and parties. Students like what am I sleeping. Clear, right? Good. Can you please configure this? Where we need to configure? Here. How? How Java is to configuration here? Tell me the code for that. At the rate bean public student. Can I take the student, right? If method name like this. By default, method name as a reference. Method name as a reference. Return new student. You clear now? Yes. Return new student, right? Get the pointer? Yes. Sir, okay, let me run this code first. App.java. Tell me guys, how can you get that bean? Context data get bean method. Context dot get bean of what? Student. Context dot get bean of student of student dot class. Okay, fine. Then you can take the student, right? Student. Yes, that's it. Guys, yes, dot stu info, right? Yeah. First, let me run this code. Check the output is working or not. Yeah. First, objects are creating a employee constructor, student constructor. Because when you start the content itself, objects are created, right? That's what. Then it is calling the methods. Don't think like first employee constructor, then employee method like that. Because when the container starts, all objects are created. That's what constructors are coming first. Then we are calling the methods executing, right? Employees are very good, enjoy the life with coding and what? Party. Students like what sleeping. Yes, sir, no, yeah. That is a point. Sir, okay, sir. But the point is, sir, I don't want like student as a reference, sir. I want to make the reference is like S1. I want to take what S1 reference. You can make S1, no problem. By default, class name as a reference. Sorry. What method name as a reference. But you don't want method name as a reference. You can make it as what S1. Then come to the application. Now you run this code means error output. Expected error. Employee coming. Employee is what coming, but student is coming or not coming, not coming. Saying that what no such bean definition named what student. He created object, object is ready. If you observe the output clearly, object is created student object, but when the container started, control container goes to here, object is created properly. But when you are getting that object is a problem. Some yes or no? Logical points with this all are. Yes or no? Logical point, normal points are. Uh, so our output, why constructor executing? Immediately get the doubt, right? Sir, you are saying error, but constructor executing. Yes, object is created. Object creation, any problem is there? No, because bean configuration done properly. When you are getting the bean is problem. Getting the bean problem is that is your problem, container problem, your problem, right? Yes or no? That is your problem, container problem. Me problem, content developer problem. That's what while getting the bean S1 reference. Container already created bean with S1, but while getting you are the problem. Now coming up, yes. Now run this code. You'll get the output properly. Like students like sleeping. Are you clear? Yes. But not only one reference, if you want, you can give multiple references also. S1 we can do, S2 we can do, S3 also we can do like this. How many references I taken out total? Three references, right? S1, S2, and what S3. You can give one reference, multiple alias names, right? Something like alias name. Because here you can come to S1, you will get output or not. Yes. Can you please change to this one is what? Yes to. I saved saved. After saving, run the code. Coming output or not. Even you can make the S3. S3. Now run the code. Coming output or not. You can change S33. Coming or not coming? Now you should get what? Error. Here error is coming while creation of Bina, while getting the Bina. Because Bean already created, no problem. Bean created. But the problem is what? You are getting the Bean is problem. Yes or no? That is the point, guys. I think this is okay, right, for this class. Understood? Understood or understood? Which one is good? XML good? Annotation is good? Java-based is good? Huh? What we discuss next level, you are saying that is good. When you start the container goes to this configuration file. To represent this class is a configuration class. What we used at the rate configuration. At the rate what? Configuration, right? Then how can you configure the beans using at the rate bean? At the rate what? Bean. Then you can take the employee class, return the employee, right? Yes. But as you feel that Mahalakshmi is feeling that, sir, this bean, I don't want to create the object like that, sir. I feel that at the rate component is good for me. You feel that component is good. In that case, I don't need to configure at the rate bin annotation. Instead of that, simply you can make this one is at the rate which annotation component. Observe carefully. Student also you can make at the rate which annotation component. But when you start the container comes to what configuration file. In the configuration file, it is looking for the beans. Hey, looking for what? Beans. But beans are there? No. What are there? Annotations are there. Then we need to give the information. In the configuration file, you can go for what? Component scan. Component scan. Immediately, it's going for the annotations also. Here, yes, that's very, very important. Class is very, very important, right? What you important, very, very important. Uh, Now you can see, now you can run this code, app.java. Now you will get the output. No worries about that. Okay, something is wrong. Why it is wrong means because of this is being reference is not there, right? By default class name as reference, na student is a reference. Okay, then run this code. Getting output or not? Now two flavors you need to understand. Flavor one at the rate bean you can configure flavor one. Flavor two, I don't want at the rate beans. I use a component, but to recognize that component, we need to go for what? Component scan. That clarity important in our mind. So no, clarity important, not important. Important. Hmm? I thought that the other components can next class, but okay, you understood now itself, right? Understood, not understood? This is like this is the class, ma. So if you want, let me make this code very clearly. Actually, here if you write the code is like case two cases, ma. Case one and what? Case two section. But let me take the case two here. What the case two? If you take at the rate component like this, and student also you are making at the rate component, ma. These are the annotations. Then Java config file. What we need to do? Tell me. This one we have to do. Component scan we have to do. Are you not going to configure any beans? Sir, no, yeah. This is employee class, this is a student class, this is what? Java config class. And this is the client code, right? This is what a client code. Okay, right? Yes. Case one is what case one, there is no component here, right? Just I took the class is what tell me guys, EMP class. Just I took what student class, exactly. Employee class, student class. That component without component, without component. Without component, I'm configuring that using @ bean. Using @bean. That's what. Yeah. Then you can go for the bean configuration file. Remove that. Then you can configure two beans like this. You clear. Just you can copy this. This is the data. Client code as is in the below we have, right? This is the client code for that. Guys, can you please check the two flavors, Amma. How many flavors? Two flavors. First flavor is what, Amma? @bean tag. Second flavor is what, Amma? Case one, case two. So we can write the multiple, we can write the student comma like this. S1 comma, S2 comma, S3, right? Guys, are you clear? Yeah. Guys, here I taken S1, S2, S3, right? I can use the three references. I can use student also. By default, method name is a bean name, right? I can use student also, right? Let me run this code once again. If the student also will work, this code will work. Yes or no? Yeah. Yes or no? Yeah. You understood what I'm saying? This is the by default method name is a reference. These are the alias names by default. Alias names. Total how many bean names are there total here? Four bean names. Four bean names means then student will work. Yes sir. Click and run. If you click and run, uh, working not working, not working. Then what we decided? We decided that when you given the bean names, method name will work or not work, not work. Generally, we thought that this is a by default name, this is the alias names, but that is correct or wrong message? Wrong message. When you give the bean your names, only your names will work. Method name will work, not work. By default, only method name will work. But if you give the names, your names only will work. So no. Then here we need to make what, Yes, yes, one. Then run the code. Sir, no, that is also one of the conclusion, right? So in this case, what will work only the B name should be S1, S2, S3, but not a student, but not what method name, right? Yes or no? That is also one of the note or not. So here the B name should be S1. Tell me guys, here the B names are S1 comma S2 comma S3, but not what method name, but not method name is what student, right? Some people will think okay, by default this one is there, something like these are aliases. It's not like that. When you if you don't have any information, by default what method name. If you give the information, then tell me if you give the information, then what happened? Then that is your data. Clear? Huh? Two flavors, two cases. Case one is what, you configured bean classes using @bean annotation. Case two is what, even the Java based configurations, mm, I'm not configuring my beans using what? Bean tag. I use annotations. What are the annotations, component. Then immediately container comes to configuration file. It is looking for the beans. Beans are not there. Beans are not there. You can go for what? Component scan. I think now you got the reality, right? Yes. It's very, very important. Finally, annotations will recognize immediately, not recognized, not recognized. Container will not recognize annotations. Container goes to either XML file, container goes to either Java file. In the XML file, component scan base package. Even Java based configuration also we have to go for what component scan. Are you clear? That is a point. Today this class is very very important, right? But case one, case two, we need to very clear. Remaining all are some small modification. That is okay. But case one, case two should be very clear. But the case one, last time repeat. Case one is configuration class. You are configuring the Spring Beans using @bean tag. Case one. Case two, we are not writing @bean tags. We are giving information to the container. Go and check the component scan for the annotations. For the annotations. Clear? Two cases. Yes. Tell me guys, today class, how many annotations you got the clarity total? How many annotations? Configuration. What is purpose? To represent your class is a to represent the class. Java class is the Java class is what tell me Java class is what? Configuration class. Java class is a configuration class. Annotation we done. Second one is what bean, to configure the bean class. To configure the tell me guys, Spring Beans. To configure what? Spring Beans, right? Third one is what? Tell me component scan. Giving information to container. Check the annotations in application. Check the annotations in what? Application. Only component annotation, all annotations are. All annotations, right? And component scan means it's checking for all annotations, right? Uh, giving, tell me guys, giving information to the container. Uh, check the annotations in application. Wow, very good. Points are very good, right? This video we got about, like this class we got about these three annotations, right? Yes. Are you clear? Yes. Any questions? Clear? Hmm. That is the data. I told you the components can today itself, because if I tell next class, maybe feel like both are different. That's what, if today itself you take the bean tag, we will get the more clarity. Remove the bean tags, take the components there. Bean is also just creating object, right? Component also creating the object. Remove the bean tags, make the component. But to recognize the annotations, components can required. What required here? Components scan. Clear? Yes, that is information. Are you clear, guys? If student and employees is different package, then how can you component scan? If different packages means we have to give the component scan with two different package names. Okay, so two different package names you have to give it. That I can take you next class better. Today is you got the clarity about the component scan is a single package, right? And next class when we will meet, we'll go for the component scan to two different packages. We clear? Component scan. She's asking a question. Student class, employee class, both are in the same package, a different package, same package. But she's asking that if there are two different packages, then how it will be. Okay, that the question answer will get discussed in what next class. Yeah, and then people join one more time. Right. Just like the video, comment the video, subscribe to our channel to get the more videos. Bye.